Welcome to 11 Recaps. If you enjoy this summary, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. It really helps me keep bringing you engaging content. Ready for your support? Awesome, thank you. Let's dive in. The story begins aboard the Borealis, a mining spacecraft journeying through the boundless expanse of space, ferrying a crew of miners secured in cryopods toward a distant mining destination. These workers, including the central character Andy, have 4 years remaining on their voyage when an unforeseen calamity disrupts their plans. An asteroid, veering unexpectedly off its course, sets a collision trajectory with the Borealis, threatening the lives of everyone on board. The narrative quickly escalates as this cosmic projectile hurtles toward the ship, setting the stage for a gripping survival tale. As the asteroid strikes the Borealis, chaos erupts. The impact triggers the ship's emergency protocols, activating the cryopods for ejection into space. Leonard, the ship's artificial intelligence, springs into action, rousing the miners from their cryogenic slumber to prepare them for the imminent danger. Andy, one of the miners, awakens just as the asteroid makes contact, his consciousness flooding back amidst the shuddering hull and blaring alarms. Leonard's calm, mechanical voice cuts through the pandemonium, urging Andy to stay composed and follow safety procedures as the situation deteriorates rapidly. The force of the collision destabilizes the Borealis, and the cryopods are jettisoned toward a nearby planet as the spacecraft begins to disintegrate. Robotic arms assist Andy, fitting him with his suit, securing his helmet, and ensuring his oxygen supply is operational. However, the ejection process is far from smooth. Many cryopods are lost, either obliterated by the asteroid's impact or incinerated during the fiery descent through the planet's atmosphere. Andy's pod, though battered, survives the initial chaos, but its re-entry velocity spirals out of control. As it careens toward a rocky hill, Leonard intervenes with precise maneuvers, narrowly averting a fatal crash. The pod ultimately makes a violent landing on the planet's surface, and though Andy survives, he is momentarily unconscious. A vivid memory of his family, his wife and son, jolts him awake, anchoring him to reality. When he comes to, he finds himself amidst a stark, mountainous landscape shrouded in dark, turbulent clouds. Disoriented but alive, he attempts to contact the Borealis, only to be met with silence. Before he can process this, the ground trembles beneath him, and Leonard's voice crackles through his helmet, urging him to abandon the pod immediately. Struggling with the pod's damaged hatch, Andy rummages through the survival kit for tools. To his dismay, he discovers that, as a low-ranking miner, he has not been equipped with a flare gun, a stark reminder of the company's cost-cutting measures. In a desperate bid for freedom, he grabs a fire extinguisher and smashes the pod's window. As he crawls through the jagged opening, the unstable terrain shifts, flipping the pod and causing glass shards to rip into his suit. Leonard warns him of the planet's hostile atmosphere, prompting Andy to apply a special sealant spray to mend the tear. Moments later, the AI alerts him to a new danger. The pod is ablaze. Clutching his son's toy, a small, sentimental keepsake, Andy digs his way out of the wreckage just in time. Now stranded on this alien world, Andy gazes upward as the Borealis enters the atmosphere, a flaming wreck plummeting toward the surface. The ship's crash landing unleashes a shockwave that hurls Andy several meters, yet he miraculously endures. Once the dust settles, he queries Leonard about their whereabouts. The AI reveals they've landed in an uncharted star system, far from their intended destination. Spotting a faint light in the distance, Andy resolves to investigate, hoping it signals salvation, and begins trudging toward it while attempting to establish radio contact. Along his perilous trek, Andy stumbles upon the smoldering wreckage of the Borealis and another escape pod. Hoping to salvage an oxygen tank, he approaches, only to recoil at the sight of a lifeless body inside. Steeling himself, he retrieves the tank, but it proves damaged and useless. Frustration mounts as he presses on toward the light, unaware that the pod he left behind bears ominous signs, blood and scratch marks hinting at a lurking presence. Eventually, Andy reaches the light and encounters Dwayne, another survivor overjoyed to find him. Relief quickly sours as Dwayne, teetering on the edge of despair, muses about cannibalism, convinced they might be the sole survivors. He reveals the company's reckless decision to navigate an asteroid belt to save fuel, a shortcut that precipitated their doom. As a member of the communications team, Dwayne plans to send a distress signal to Earth, but the timeline is grim. 8 months for the signal to reach home, followed by 2 years for the fastest rescue ship, the RTS, to arrive. Rallying Andy's spirits, Dwayne suggests heading south to the other half of the Borealis to establish a base camp, bolstering him with words of resilience. Yet, as Dwayne pushes Andy forward with encouragement, the physical force unbalances him. Stepping back to steady himself, Andy accidentally dislodges a wire critical to their plan. As he turns to fix it, a creature bursts from the shadows, dragging Dwayne away in an instant. Stunned, Andy completes the distress signal alone, then arms himself with Dwayne's firearm and sets off toward the ship's other section, his oxygen reserves dangerously low. En route, a new voice pierces the static. Naomi, another survivor, trapped in her pod with her legs pinned. She shares her coordinates, but Leonard warns Andy that the area is treacherous, with poor visibility and a risk of exhausting his oxygen. The AI suggests a safer path to the Borealis wreckage for resupply, but Naomi's pleas sway Andy. Promising she has enough oxygen for them both, she convinces him to detour to her aid. As he navigates the rugged terrain, they exchange stories, forging a bond amidst the uncertainty. Night falls and Andy's senses sharpen. Shadows flicker in the darkness, prompting him to request a scan from Leonard, who admits its limitations as an outdated model, another corporate cost-saving choice. Naomi confirms this, lamenting the company's priorities. An hour later, Andy spots elusive figures darting through the gloom and shares Dwayne's fate with Naomi, speculating about unseen threats. His unease deepens when he discovers strange footprints leading to a web-encircled hole. Dread washes over him as he warns Naomi of potential alien spiders, though he wryly notes they're the aliens here. Webs proliferate as he hastens his pace, and Naomi probes why he took this job, hinting at a troubled past. Memories of his wife and son surface, happy moments overshadowed by their abandonment. A guttural growl interrupts his reverie, and Leonard alerts him to approaching trackers, eerily tied to deceased crew members. Firing a flare to illuminate his surroundings, Andy reveals monstrous spiders with scorpion-like tails closing in. Panicked, he flees, only to stumble into a crevice. A spider looms above as he falls, crashing to a cliff's edge but clinging to life. He informs Naomi that the trackers are inside the creatures, remnants of consumed crew. As his suit leaks oxygen, he uses his last sealant, then hears Dwayne's voice over the radio, battling the spiders. Naomi urges Andy to help Dwayne, who has more oxygen, but his GPS fails. Guided by her voice, Andy follows Dwayne's flare, arriving to find him under attack. Dwayne's plan falters as a spider overwhelms him, forcing Andy to hide. Naomi distracts another spider with pod lights, and Andy ducks into a pod, discovering a rotting corpse. She then lights up multiple pods, drawing the spiders away and giving him a chance to escape into a foggy expanse. Warning Naomi to flee her pod, Andy sings a lullaby from his son's past as she reveals Dwayne's death. They're the last survivors. In the fog, fireflies glow purple, then turn red and attack. Escaping their assault, Naomi posits the spiders fear them. Before he can ponder this, a massive creature swallows him whole. Inside, he suffers a heart attack, but Leonard's defibrillator shocks the beast into expelling him. Fleeing into a cave, fireflies swarm again, driving him to Naomi. Arriving as his oxygen nears zero, she shares hers, and he frees her trapped leg with a lever. They escape as spiders encircle them, Naomi's AMI, easing her pain. A flare distracts the creatures, and they reach the Borealis, locking out a spider that's severed in the door. Inside, they find a habitable deck, but spot a spider laying an egg. Another ambushes them, trapping them in an airlock. Sharing personal losses, Andy's family died in a crash, fueling his guilt. Naomi's faith in humanity waned. They're interrupted as a spider breaches the lock. Fireflies repel it, but a fall into the cargo bay ensues. An explosion from sealant stuns the spider, and Andy plans to crush it with a pod. Climbing to an operational pod, Andy overrides Leonard's shutdown, sacrificing the AI to drop the pod on the spider. The impact knocks him out, but he awakens to Naomi's relief. They watch the sunrise, Leonard reboots with an upgrade, and they face a 2-year wait for rescue, if it comes. Their bond hints at hope, perhaps romance, as the story closes, leaving their fate to the reader's imagination. Thank you for tuning in. If you appreciated this content, please like our channel and subscribe. Additionally, we would love to hear which movie you would like us to summarize for you.